Oh boy, it has been a week, y'all. Finally have power pretty consistently in our house. So I've got my mug here. I've got my Crown Royal Vanilla because apparently all Texans are Canadians now. So I'm just gonna throw some of this in a cup. Hello guys, how are ya? First alcohol all week because we haven't either haven't been home or it's been a crappy week. It really has. Cheers. Nice to see you. Oh, that sounds good. And some Crown Vanilla and Coke. So I just kind of wanted to let y'all know what our week has been like. We've been pretty much out of pocket. As everybody knows now, it's been a really bad storm here in Texas. And so Monday, I guess it was Sunday night going into Monday was when it hit. I think that's right. And our power went out. So at nighttime, when it dropped down to, it was 18 degrees outside. It felt like -6, it was 8 degrees outside. It felt like -6. And inside our house, it got down into the high 40s, low 50s, mostly low 50s, hit high 40 once when I woke up in the middle of the night. And it was really cold in here. So we had some wood for our fireplace. We do have a fireplace here. So we were burning that on Monday and Tuesday, mostly at night when it got really cold, whenever the sun went down. And we even had some friends that they had firewood, but they didn't have a fireplace. So they came over and we got to, have a nice little family time while sitting by the fire. So the kids mostly slept in our living room, which ironically enough is usually the coldest room in the house. And but when we had the fireplace, it was the only thing bringing us heat because when the power's out, obviously our heater wasn't working. So the kids slept in there, but it was pretty miserable those first 2 nights. So the first night was all the snow. The next night was a ton of ice. So, the power was just going out every couple hours. Like we would have power for like 30 minutes, then it would go out for like 6 or 4 or 8, just kind of depending on the day. It was kind of just all over the place. So we did that all again on Tuesday, and Tuesday night was the same thing. Like the heater stayed on a little bit more, so it would like get up to like 65 degrees in the house, and then the power would shut off and it would start dropping back into the 50s. And I was just kind of monitoring that throughout the night. So pretty miserable at night. My wife's a trooper. She was cutting up a lot of the firewood and keeping the fire going. And the kids were great, like didn't complain all that much. But we got good news, I guess, on Wednesday. What's today? Thursday. No, it must have been Tuesday. I must have my days wrong. It was Sunday night and Monday night. So that next day, somebody had reached out. So a friend of ours, actually the family who came over with the firewood, they have a really small baby, like born like 2 weeks ago. So they were like, we need to find a place to stay with warmth. Sam is a good dad. They were like, we need to find a place with warmth. So they went and found a hotel that's on Texas A&M's property, which, is like, it has its own power. So they were able to stay there, but then they were like, well, they posted like, we're looking for a place to stay. And so like a friend of a friend of a friend. So essentially my friend who came over has a mutual friend with me. It's the mom of a kid who I was the confirmation sponsor for. She was like, hey, I have a friend that has like a bunch of rental houses in town. Like here, it's like mostly for like football games and that sort of thing for when people come in town for the A&M games. And, people weren't using them. And somehow those houses weren't on the grid because they were doing the rolling blackouts. So like our house, every time they turned the power off here, they turned it on somewhere else in town and vice versa. But for some reason, this house wasn't on the grid and it just has electricity and power, or electricity and heat, the whole time. So they offered for us to go stay over there. So we did. We went and stayed over there, and that's where we've been the last couple nights. So it's been really nice. At night it's warm while we're sleeping, which has been the biggest blessing. We're able to we were able to go to H-E-B, our local grocery store, buy a little bit of groceries for them. I mean, a lot of the stuff in the grocery store was just like completely out, but we were able to buy enough stuff to where like we've been able to eat meals pretty fine. And they had all the stuff that we needed to kind of take care of that. So that's where we've been the last couple of nights. And everybody's good. We've been here at our house. Like, obviously you recognize the background. We're home today during the day. We're trying to wait it out and see if like maybe we can sleep here tonight, or maybe we'll go back to that other house for another night. So we're really thankful for everybody that helped make that other house possible. What's up, Nick? Nice to see you. It's that staying at that house for 2 nights was a huge blessing for us. We were able to stay warm and not get sick and not be miserable. So huge blessing. Now on some kind of funny stuff. So while all this is happening, like I still have work to do. Like some of y'all know that have listened to the podcast. Like I have 17 podcast clients that I'm the editor for their podcast. And like the rest of the world didn't stop, just Texas and Louisiana. So I still had work to do and projects to do. I knew that I spend most of my time on the internet. Like 99% of what I do requires the internet. So essentially what I would do is I would come in here. This is like my office and my desk. So I would sit here and I would edit all of my audio, and like charge my computer while the power was on. So the computer would charge. When the power went off, like I had nothing else to do. Like, what are you going to do without power? So like literally all I did was edit the audio that I had on my computer. So I was editing podcasts. There's an audiobook project that has been backed up for me. I've edited just about every chapter of the audiobook now. So like, ironically enough, this week has been extremely productive. Hey, you remember that room. Nice. This week's been really productive because I haven't had anything to do but work. So I would edit all this audio and then like wait until the power came on because our Wi-Fi would come on then, and like essentially upload all of the audio to my clients so that they could publish it, or I publish it for them, or whatever. So it was fun. It was kind of funny talking to a lot of the podcast clients where it was like they're waiting on, are we going to get this project? And I'm like, dude, it's been done for 2 days. I just can't get it to you. But all in all, everything went well. Funny story about the podcast that we released today. So usually we release the Forte Catholic podcast every Wednesday. But so this story goes all the way back to like Friday. Normal podcast host was, co-host. Normal co-host was supposed to be Allison Sullivan. Her kid got COVID, so she couldn't come over. So I was like, okay, I'll find a guest co-host. So I invited Edmund Mitchell to come on the show. So Saturday and Sunday he had family in. So we were like, let's do it Monday, not knowing that like our world was going to shut down on Monday. So on Monday, we had scheduled to record the show. It didn't work. Like I didn't have, like when I had power, he didn't have power. It was just crazy. Like, and we were trying to figure out what we were going to do for our family. So it wasn't a priority. So Tuesday we tried to record again, and we record for about 18 minutes and then the power cuts out. So we have like 18 minutes of like the first segment of the show. And then we're just like, well, we're going to keep it set up. And when the power comes up, like right when the power came on, like 3 hours later, I texted Edmund. I'm like, let's go, let's do this. He hops back on. We record the next chunk of the show and the power goes out again. We have to do it again. So anyway, like it was just a mess. We had to reschedule, I think like 5 or 6 times. We had to record 3 different sessions, an absolute mess. And it made the editing process a mess because then instead of like 1 or 2 big files, I had 8 audio files, 8 video files, trying to match it all up. It was just a mess to get the show out this week, but we finally did. And after everything with all that craziness, I actually think it's a really good show. So hopefully you guys go check it out. The newest episode of the Forte Catholic podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts or over on YouTube. Edmund is tremendous We talked about, what did we talk about? We talked about the winter storm. I had a bunch of like random thoughts about like Jesus and the 99 sheep. We also talked about like cryptocurrency and faith. Also, have you ever eaten a soul? Like, we answer all these really important questions on this week's episode of Forte Catholic. Thank you guys for saying hi, and I see you there. All your schoolwork pushed back, giving you time to procrastinate. See, dude, like, I wouldn't procrastinate. I'm usually a procrastinator because I have like everything at my fingertips to publish stuff. Now I'm like, I gotta go a week ahead in case things aren't going well. Andy, thanks for listening. Mr. Iron, thanks for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, so it's just been a crazy week, and we're holding it together. Like, it's one of those things that, like, as we're doing stuff, it's fine, and then we sit down and we're like, this week's really been stressful. So keep us in your prayers, keep our family in your prayers, keep everybody in our community in your prayers here in Bright College Station, but also like wider Texas and Louisiana. It's just been a crappy week, and it's one of those things that, like, if this would have happened 3 years ago, like, it would have felt like it was terrible. But now we're just like, the sad thing is we're just so used to bad things happening over and over and over and over again. It's been a rough week. So keep us in your prayers, and we'll talk to you soon. Go listen to that show with Edmund Mitchell. It was a blast. Hope you guys enjoy it. Or it ended up being a blast. It was painful to record, but by the end, it was a good product. So hope you guys enjoy it. I'll talk to you later. Thanks.